Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wiregrass Haunts. I am Stan, one of your hosts. I have a special host tonight that's working with me, somebody that has worked with me in the past, and I'm really, really excited that she's here. Miss Mary Quirion. Mary, are you there?
Yes, I am. It's so good to be back in the saddle with you.
Absolutely. Welcome, welcome back. I was so excited when you said yes.
Well, I was excited when you asked.
Well, when my regular co-host said he can't do it, I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have to do this by myself, and then which would have been okay, but and I said, wait a minute, Mary said she might could do that, so that's why I asked.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because my social calendar is so full, right?
I know. So where are you tomorrow?
Right? Hey, I'm free for the next year.
Well, that's cool.
There you go.
Well, you're welcome to co-host with me as much as you want.
Well, thank you, Scan. We always have a good time, and that's what's important,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
along with getting all those facts out there.
Oh yeah, yeah. We got a good show tonight. Um, Mary Rick Waid is going to be our guest tonight, and he is awesome. You can probably catch Rick. He has a show, Messages from Above, on Facebook, and guys, I've watched his show, and it's amazing. It really is. And when I first time I seen it, I'm like, is this really happening? What I'm thinking, what I'm seeing? And then boom, I was like, oh no, here we go. So and it was really amazing. And we before we came on, we were talking with Rick about his last show, and I physically heard the same voice that he heard when he was on his show. So I thought that was just cool beans. So
There you go.
yeah, cool. I mean that's awesome. But we'll get to Mr. Rick here in just a few minutes. Mary, what kind of happenings have you got going on? I mean, surely you got something going on.
Other than my little granddaughter and watching her from afar,
Oh,
Uh, not too much else. My son's coming home in a couple weeks. He's done with the military, so
awesome.
yay. Um, but then he joined the National Guard before he even left. So, and their
Yeah.
unit might be getting deployed. So he's almost 4 years active duty. Didn't go to the sandbox. Maybe going to the sandbox.
Well,
He likes to keep me on my toes. So there you go.
awesome. Well, I'm glad that he has had a fruitful career in the military. By meaning, he hadn't got shot at and things like that. So
Yeah, he
that's
did
awesome.
have a gun blow up into space.
Oh no.
He's a gunner on a Bradley. That was his job, and it exploded, and not a piece of the gun hit him in the face, which is a miracle in itself. So,
Uh, well, God
yes,
had to be there for sure.
absolutely.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I haven't been doing anything but wiregrass haunts and investigating paranormal and that type of thing. And obviously, somebody said I've been trolling people, but
Oh,
um, that's for a different show. Y'all, I
you
haven't trolled
stalker,
anybody.
you.
I know I haven't trolled anybody. I'm sorry. I had to mention that. We're going to bring a little more of that to light here in a couple of weeks, and
Yeah,
it'll be an interesting show. But uh, tonight's going to be awesome. And Mary, you ready to let's bring on our guest?
absolutely.
Awesome. Everybody, Mr. Rick Waid. Rick, are you there?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Brother, we are blessed. How about you?
Well, that's wonderful. I'm doing great. Doing great. Being positive. That's what we got to do.
That's
That's
right.
right. That's right. Um, yes, positive always outdoes negative, so that's cool. You told us a while ago you were driving home. Are you able to get home okay?
Oh, I'm fine.
Okay, good.
Definitely fine.
So have you guys got snow now or?
Oh yeah, we got snow. We probably got about I'd say about 3 inches right now, but roads are clean now, so it's no big deal. So we're okay.
Well, that's amazing. 3 inches here in Dothan, Alabama, would shut us down for a week. They'd close schools and
be out of
start.
bread and be out of
Yeah,
milk.
yeah. I'm a butcher, and it's amazing when there's a threat of our power going off and stuff like that. Everybody comes in and buys sandwich meat and steaks and stuff like that. And okay, so but I guess with the snow, at least they could keep it outside and it stay cold. Um, but yeah, snow just totally shuts everything down here. So um,
Oh yeah, I understand. I used to live in Kentucky, and we get a couple inches, they close the school
oh
because
yeah,
of the roads.
yeah, that's crazy. Well, I mean that's a safety thing, and as long as we're taking care of our kids and stuff like that, that's great. Like here when there's a threat of bad weather, they close the schools because they've had
Oh
so
yeah.
many. Yeah, they've had so many tornadoes run through some of the schools, and
Mm.
so that's one of the reasons why they do that, I think. So, all right, well, Rick, I wanna I want to tell everybody that Rick is an award-winning author, a paranormal author. He's got a couple of books out there, Awakening of a Seer and My Paranormal Journey, One Man's Obsession. Um, Rick, what made you jump on the author wagon and write these books?
Well, the thing was, I had an obsession with the paranormal, and I was actually going out probably around 11 o'clock and staying out to 3 or 4 in the morning, and then having to get up at 6 o'clock to start my day at my job. It was scaring my wife. She was worried that I was going to get
Sure.
hurt, and I was going to drive, because I used to drive 300 to 400 miles a day for my job. So, me driving with no sleep was not good. So she begged me to write a book. And that's exactly what I started doing. She said, just stay home. You've been doing this for a couple of years. You got a lot of stories. Write the stories. Stay home with your family. And I just decided to do a couple hours a night. And pretty soon I had a book. So yeah, I stopped going out doing the paranormal stuff because I was worrying my wife. So I stayed home and I wrote the book. And then actually the book was written probably about 3 years. I had it like parts of it all over, like on a lot of web pages and a lot of big forums and stuff. But then somebody took it serious and said, hey, I'd like to actually, go over your book and get it published. And that's when I actually took that step.
Wow. So the journey for that has it been a good journey, or up and down?
Well, the thing is about, writing, I wrote 2 books, but it only took me probably about 90 days to write each one of them. It doesn't really take that long if you put the time and energy into it. But, the journey has been, helping people with their paranormal situations and reading people. And I didn't know how to read people when I first started. When I first started the paranormal, it was about capturing voices on a recorder called EVPs. And whenever I started doing EVPs, pretty soon, after like 90 days of actually trying to get spirits to communicate, they started actually coming on through sounds first. It was actually like closing of doors or walking, or like you can actually hear muffled sounds, but I couldn't understand what they were saying. And then pretty soon I trained myself to be able to hear them. The next thing you know, I was getting voices on the recorder. But the thing was, what was interesting was, whenever I was younger, I had Bell palsy. You know what Bell palsy is?
Yes, yes.
I had that too, Rick.
I had.
No fun.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Okay, so I had Bell palsy, and then it got really bad to a point where I actually was putting peroxide in my left ear and letting it actually set in there to try to help with the pain of an earache. But I didn't know I was supposed to, just let it go in for a few seconds and let it go out. I was actually letting it set there because it was feeling so good. And pretty soon it was eating my ear away. So I ended up going to the doctor, and they ended up getting me all fixed up, and they, gave me some steroids and stuff. And then next thing you know, I was able to hear at a different frequency than other people. I was hearing at an actual 12-year-old's hearing in my left ear and a 35-year-old man in my right ear. That's how I was able to hear different frequencies. And that's why people were not hearing these actual audio voices, because they were hearing at their 25, 30-year-old age. They couldn't hear it. But whenever I took it to a child that was like 12 or 13, they could hear what was being said on the audio recorder because they were hearing the same frequency as me.
Wow.
So how interesting is that?
Interesting. Yeah.
That is interesting. I don't know that I could handle something like that. I mean,
well,
how did you get?
Go ahead.
How did you get used to that? I mean, you had two different things going on, and it had to be kind of worrisome to you.
Well, the thing is about it is I did not know how to handle it. It became a bad obsession where I was actually recording thousands of hours. No matter where I went, I was recording and trying to capture spirit. I pretty soon I was figuring out, well, I didn't have to go to a graveyard to capture a voice. Well, I didn't have to go to a haunted location to capture a voice. Pretty soon I was going to radio stations and doing, shows on there, and I was capturing the voices at the radio station. It didn't matter where I would go, I was able to capture these audio voices. So that was telling me that spirits are everywhere if you're actually trying to connect with them. So it got to a point where it was actually taking all my time and energy. I wouldn't do anything with the family. Matter of fact, I would actually take the recorder with my job, and I was actually would read, not read people, but I would actually do the recorder in their houses during my job when I was working. I almost lost my job because of it, because I was capturing voices in people's houses because they wanted me to do it, and I'm thinking, well, it's not going to cause any problem. But then the wife was actually like really shocked with the information I was getting on the audio. She told her husband, he turned me in, and next thing you know, I had cops knocking on my door because the husband said I put the wife in fear, but I really didn't. I actually told her some amazing stories that was through the audio sessions that was happening that were really on target about her dad. So it was pretty amazing stuff that was happening. So I was really obsessed with it, and I was helping people, and I was trying to get into missing person cases, trying to work with the police department. And of course, the police department was like, listen, we don't hear that, because they couldn't hear because they were, they were in their 50s or 60s or 70s. They couldn't hear because, they've been shooting guns their whole life, and their hearing was off. But whenever you brought in a younger individual in there, they could hear the actual audio. So they would actually let me go and work on some of the missing person cases around the town because of what was going on, because this other lady was hearing it because she was a lot younger. So it was an amazing experience. But I would go and do like an hour session. I would get like 100 voices coming through. It was crazy. 100 voices would come through on the recorder. I could hear that many voices.
Wow. Sound like a party, didn't it? I mean, it was like
it would drive me crazy, basically. No, sure. They would come in. Sometimes I would hear a female, sometimes I would hear a child, sometimes I hear a male, and there was this different voices coming in. And a lot of times when I first started, it didn't make any sense. Like I'd be out at a graveyard, and let's say I'm out at an actual side road and there's crosses, and let's say the person that passed away was Stephanie, and I would hear on the recorder, I'd hear John, I'd hear Robert, the name Robert come through, I'd hear Tina come through. I'm like, but no Stephanie. So I had to do research and come to find out the actual family member, mom was Tina, and the brother was the other name. You know what I mean? They were actually talking about the family members.